Okay, so let's move on to our next story. And this one is i- let me preface it by saying this. The fall season for movies are going to be packed. Um, so big. And one of the biggest movies that really isn't being talked about um, is a little movie called Napoleon. And, um, you know, I, this is, of course, we have Joaquin Phoenix being, the winning Best Actor a couple years ago. Ridley Scott making another fantastic film, I think. And one thing that, is of um, to be talked about. If you go back and look at all of the biopic um, winners, male and female, over the past, I would say, 10 years, we have had a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, go back to, all the way back to '08 with The Darkest Hour and Gary Oldman. We had a couple years ago, we had Raleigh Malek with Bohemian Rhapsody. Um, Judy, with Renee Zellweger winning Best Actress. Just a couple years ago, you had Jessica Chastain winning for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Um, so this is going to be something. We've got a movie coming out that I can't talk about that it's going to be really, really good and should win and definitely get very close to double-digit nominations. So we're going to have another biopic here, and this one's going to be a little different though. So this one is, of course, the title of the film is Napoleon, and it's an Apple original set for November, and it's going to get a theatrical release. So, according to Deadline, Apple Original Films have partnered with Sony Pictures Entertainment and set a November 22nd worldwide theatrical release for Napoleon, the historical action epic directed by Ridley Scott that stars Joaquin Phoenix as the French conqueror Napoleon Bonaparte and Vanessa Kirby as Empress Josephine. Now, Vanessa Kirby, if you're not aware of her, if blanking on it, she was in played the White Widow in the last Mission Impossible and Rogue Nation. After the theatrical run, the film will begin to stream globally on Apple Television. This becomes the second award season film from Apple set for an ambitious theatrical run after the Cannes-bound Martin Scorsese directed Killers of the Flower Moon was set for a late October release through Paramount Pictures. Paramount has had some quote killer rights and has always been a part of the Apple deal, but this is the first time Apple went out and aligned with one off distribution deal. Sony's Tom Rothman worked often with Scott when the filmmakers Scott Free, which is their production company, was based at Fox. He was primed to help maximize the award chances of the director, who hasn't yet won an Oscar, but has not been nominated. Excuse me, but has been nominated 3 times for Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, and Black Hawk Down. And of course, Gladiator ended up winning Best Picture back in 2000. Napoleon has been in the Cannes Film Festival conversation at one point, and it was, but became clear that wouldn't happen when its fall release plans. It is still early, but expect Taurus, Venice, and Toronto to chase this pick, as well as New York, whose September 29th through October 15th date falls closest to the calendar to Thanksgiving. Deadline revealed last week that Denis Villeneuve's directed Dune sequel will unlikely make its bow at Venice, as did the original, because of the gap between Venice and the film's November 3rd release date. A New York Film Festival bow seems most likely for that film. Directed by Scott from a screenplay by David Schapper, Napoleon tells the story of the French emperor and the military leader's origins and swift, ruthless climb to emperor that is viewed through the prism of his addictive and often volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. The film captures Napoleon's famous battles, relentless ambition, and astounding strategic mind as an extraordinarily military leader and war visionary. An Apple Studio production, in conjunction with Scott Free Productions, Napoleon is produced by Scott, Kevin Walsh, Mark Huffman with Phoenix, with Michael Prussian, Adrian Elliott serving as EPs. Napoleon and Killers of the Flower Moon gave the 3-year-old Apple original films two prime entities in the awards release after it became the first streamer to win the Best Picture Oscar for Coda 2 years ago. Okay, let's talk about this. This is big. This is very, very, very big for a couple of reasons. Number one is the piece was making mention. Um, you now have two big, big movies in Killers of the Flower Moon and now Napoleon. Number two, you're having a biopic that could win Joaquin Phoenix if it's done correctly. And Ridley Scott is a fantastic director. You don't have to say that. His second Oscar in 3 years. Number three, if you look at the trend, okay, over the past several years, and I was talking about musical biopics, but you can even say other biopics too. You can go back, as early as 1983 when Ben Kingsley won for Gandhi, even though it wasn't as prevalent as it is today. Steve Jobs, all of these other films. I mean, look at The Social Network, which, by the way, guys, I will be pre-recording, and you guys will get that on Wednesday. I'm going to be going to see Air and Super Mario. I'm going to be doing a double feature with that, and um, so you guys will get that on Wednesday. So I'm going to pre-record that and take care of that for you. And I haven't forgotten about The Mandalorian. But back to Napoleon. This looks fantastic. It's another big budget war film. So the last point I'll say on this is this. I think that the fact that we are now getting another Ridley Scott film that is going to be fantastic. Okay, because don't forget he came out with two a couple years ago. Okay, he came out with The Last Duel and he came out with House of Gucci. Neither one were that well received, but they were still received well. All of that being said, Scott's a fantastic director. I have no doubt in my mind he can put it all together. Okay, I have no doubt in my mind he can put it all together. And I think that if he does, this could be another huge hit. Wouldn't it be fascinating, guys? Think about this for a minute. Wouldn't it be fascinating if Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon were both up for Best Picture? Interesting. It has that touch to it because of course Coda ended up winning a couple of years ago. Anyways, I can't wait. And the last thing I'll say before I finish this, it's getting a theatrical release. Yes. So I think this is going to do fantastic. And once people see it, it's really going to get things that the juice is flowing for the award season. Um, so the fact that Dune's not going to be there, it really helps. So, what do you guys think about this? Did you even know they were making a Napoleon movie? Do you like the casting of Joaquin Phoenix? Will you go see it when it does come out? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.